Okay, recording. All right, chapter 1025 review. Are you ready for this, Barry? Are you ready for this? I'm ready for this. I got my suit. You got your suit. We got the camera. We got the backdrop. Robin's there. She looks beautiful as always. Let's do this. Yeah! That's my pre-chapter review ritual. I've been doing it since the Bleach days. Gotta get myself excited. Gotta get myself pumped up for this. Yeah! Okay, so chapter 1025, titled Twin Dragoons. I'm sorry, Dragons, Twin Dragons. Yeah, Dragoons are something else altogether. That's actually a character from the Venture Brothers, funnily enough. But chapter 1025, we're just moving along, right? It just seems like yesterday we were celebrating chapter 1000. It was a big event. Now we're a quarter of the way through the next 100 chapters of this series. Hey, I have an idea. How about we do a little bit of a theory? We usually do that on the channel, right? We do theories every now and then. What's chapter 1100 of One Piece going to be like? We're almost there. It's only 75 chapters away. Time's gonna fly, ladies and gentlemen. Are we still going to be in Wano? I'm assuming we're going to be out of Wano. In fact, I'm pretty damn sure we're going to be out of Wano by chapter 1100. But, you know, is that going to have, like, a big character revelation or what? Which one of the Straw Hats haven't really addressed yet in terms of, like, big, huge character development? Like, we found out Sanji's parents, probably some big things involving Zoro in this arc. How about Chopper? Yeah, chapter 1100 is all going to be about Chopper. Chopper's going to visit the kingdom that Hiruluk went to, you know, that, like, cured him of his illness or whatever, and it's going to be a big thing involving Hiruluk and Chopper, and we're going to find out his backstory. His father wasn't just an average reindeer. His father was actually Rudolph. Which makes sense because, you know, Rudolph was the red-nosed reindeer and he's the blue-nosed reindeer. You thought that was just a reference? Oh no, Christmas is canon in the One Piece world and we're doing this now, okay. But no, yeah, let's just get to it. Chapter 1025. Oh, the cover page. Gotta talk about the cover page first. Also, the third segment of the top 50 popularity poll. It's completed in all of its glory. You can look it up. It looks amazing. Yeah, I want to get a poster of that at some point when I move, you know, to get that on like the backdrop. Oh man, that'd be so nice. But anyway, the cover here is Captain Usopp relaying his grand adventures to his adoring public, or the press. The press in this particular instance are two little birds and then an octopus in the background that's like printing the story. And we see the story's headline is like, Big Liar Story, alright? But this is great, because I like to think that this little newspaper, this isn't like the World Economic Journal. The World Economic Journal is run by a big bird. These are very clearly smaller birds, okay? So they run like a competing kind of newspaper to Morgan's, and they sent a letter to the Straw Hats like, hey, we would love to get a candid interview with the captain of the Straw Hat crew, right? Of course. And so Usopp is the one that gets the letter, and he doesn't give it to Luffy, and he's like, well, I'll take care of this. So he gets dressed up in his captain attire, which you know Usopp has. Usopp has a full captain, like, cosplay in his room just for this occasion, alright? So he puts on his captain hat and his cloak and everything, and he goes to the newspaper, and he just starts relaying the tale. And I like to think this scene right here, where he's in the middle of telling the story, and the birds are like, wow, this is incredible, right? And the octopus is like, are you getting this? Are you getting this? I'm getting it. I'm printing it, like, hot off the presses, right? Oh, is that the reason? Because he's an octopus, so he creates ink? Is that the reason why he's back there with all the papers? Oh, Oda, man, your genius is boundless. But no, I like to think right there, this is Usopp explaining, like, how they took down Kaido. And he's like, yeah, and so, you know, the day looked lost, but then I single-handedly arrived, and not only did I defeat all 6 of the Tobiropo, as well as all of the All-Stars, but I stood my ground, and I was able to slay that dragon duck bastard in one fell swoop. And that's how I became the Shogun of Wano. And all the birds are like, wow, this is incredible! You know, this is gonna put us on the map right here, okay? Now allow me to regale you with the story of how I acquired all 3 ancient weapons, defeated Blackbeard, and became king of the pirates. You know, alright, so that's a pretty funny scene there. These cover pages have been getting a lot more elaborate. We also had the one with Frankie and Senor Pink at the bar. Like, that was a really good one too, so this is a favorite of mine. Alright, so this is honestly not a very long chapter, which it's nice to get a little bit of a break because the last few have been really intense. So the chapter opens up on the beach of Wano. I'm guessing we're in the Udon region or around there, maybe the Hakumai region. And Luffy, of course, last time he, addressed Momo. Momo is this giant dragon. All of the Heart Pirates thought it was actually Kaido that had descended, and they're freaking out. But of course, Shinobu knows who it is, and Luffy immediately knows who it is. He's like, hey, Momo, that's you, right? And Momo's like in the giant dragon and probably his most imposing voice that he can muster. He's like, yes, Luffy, it is I, Momonosuke, the son of Odin. Now hop on my back, and we shall go back to Onigashima and slay the dragon that has enslaved my homeland. And Luffy's like, yeah, let's do this, buddy. And then epic music plays up in the background. Hey, Jean Bart, can we get some epic music? Jean Bart's like, okay. He takes out his iPod and he starts playing epic music, yeah. And so Luffy jumps on the back of Momonosuke, and as the Heart Pirates and Shinobu and Caribou and everybody look on, Luffy's like, all right, Momonosuke, we are taking back Wano. We fly for Onigashima! And then Momo's not moving. It's just like, yeah, we're gonna do that. Yeah, we're gonna fly up there any second. We're gonna take him down. Momo's like, yeah, damn straight we are, Luffy. Yeah, as soon as you take off, it'll probably only take us a couple seconds to get up there. Yeah, it won't take long at all, Luffy. I'm a giant dragon now. Oh, hell you are, man. That's gonna be great. We're gonna get up there any second now. When you take off, we're gonna get up there. We're gonna fight Kaido again. I'm ready. I'm fully charged. It's like, yeah, you look good. Yeah, I mean, I've been working out, right? I was working in a prisoner mine for a little while, but I got gear 4th, and, I charged up my hockey, so, yeah, we could get going any second. He's like, yeah, we sure can. Yeah, we're gonna be up there pretty soon. Yeah. Fly! So Momonosuke, yes, he's still very terrified of heights, and so he's afraid to take off as a dragon. So, yeah, he's 28 years old physically, but still very much a child, so, becoming an adult did not take away all of his, his concerns or his anxieties or his phobias or fears or anything like that. He's still very much afraid of heights, like always, and so Luffy has to kind of coax him to, like, come on, just take off! And Momo's like, I don't really know how to. And he's like, all right, just, like, kick off the ground, I guess? Now remember, the way that the dragon fruits actually fly, they're not, like, flying under their own power. I mean, they are, but it's not like Shenron from DBZ where he was just, like, flying through the sky or whatever. It's using the flame clouds. So it's like you wrap the flaming clouds around you, and that's kind of how you're flying. That's how Kaido does it, and how it's the same principle of how he raised up Onigashima to move it to Wano, right? So, Luffy doesn't really know how to do this, but Momo is kind of like, he's really flustered. You see Shinobu and the Heart Pirates there just kind of like, so what should we do now? Are we still relevant in this arc, or should we, like, help them? I'm like, I don't know. Like, Jean Bart, take some of those, like, those things for airplanes, like those light sticks things, and just be like, all right, we're taking off, just like, clear runway 6, Bill. It's like, all right, it's like, there's really nothing they could do here, so they're just kind of watching it because it's kind of a funny routine, but I'm sure Momo will get the hang of it. All right, so we cut over to the top of Onigashima. Last chapter, we had Yamato's past revealed, and then at the end of the chapter we had Kaido and Yamato clash in a big epic display of conqueror's hockey, armament, probably some observation in there too, like all hockey just kind of merged right there, and it really did seem at that moment that they were equals. Every time Kaido fought against Yamato, every attack seemed to be like better than anything Yamato could pull out, but in this one instance it looked like they were equal, okay? So the attack ends and the dust sort of settles and Yamato's there, still in the hybrid Makami form, Kaido's still in his hybrid dragon, and they do that epic thing where they clash, and then they're like opposite sides of the battlefield, okay? And so we zoom in on Yamato's face, and her face begins to just kind of crack, like, she's a statue or something, and Kaido's dripping a little bit of blood from his forehead. Not a lot, but he definitely took some damage from that attack there, and so Yamato's skin just shatters apart, just like, and this is an attack called Mirror Mountain. Or Mirror Mountain, Yamato learned Mirror Move! The ultimate, no, not Mirror Move, what's the other one? Mirror Coat! The ultimate defensive technique in all of Pokemon. Probably, I don't know, I'm not that great at Pokemon, but Wobbuffet can learn it, so therefore it's the strongest. It's impossible to defeat a Wobbuffet, Barry. See, Wobbuffet is a Pokemon that has the ability Counter, which blocks all physical attacks. And it also knows a move called Mirror Coat, which can block all special attacks. If it can block all special attacks and physical attacks, it's the immortal Pokemon. There's not a single thing you can do to kill it. Anyway, Yamato uses that. And so it's a defensive technique, I'm assuming in conjunction with the Makami, because we've never seen anything like this in terms of like armament hockey to like protect yourself. I'm assuming this is part of the mythical property of the Makami Devil Fruit, because up until now Yamato's been displaying, you know, ice-based abilities, okay? You know, like the glacial cuts and everything like that. So I'm assuming this is a technique, honestly, probably kind of similar to Toshiro Hitsugaya's like ice shield thing he used in Bleach that one time against Haribel. Not the same thing. That was more of like, it was like an ice clone shield thing, but it made it look like Toshiro actually died when he didn't. It's something like that. Basically, maybe surrounding Yamato's body with ice, but then like supercharging the ice with armament hockey to make it even more tough, and so then that shatters apart. So Yamato essentially blocked all the damage here, while Kaido took some damage with the blood. Kaido even admits, it's like, so you block the damage, eh? And so then Yamato doesn't miss a beat, uses another glacial, like, ice-based attack to slam down on Kaido. Man, you know, it's really cool, because we don't really get to see that many ice-based abilities in One Piece, you know? I mean, obviously, we have Aokiji that has the Hiei no Mi, but who else? I mean, nobody else, really. I mean, well, Monet, but she's dead now, and she wasn't really ice, she was more snow. She had the Yuki no Mi. But yeah, you know, if Yamato joins the Straw Hats, that'll be great, because, you know, Sanji can use fire, Zoro's swords, you know, Frankie has lasers, you know, and then we have Yamato that'll be able to use ice, and there's nobody else in the Straw Hats that can use that, so that'll be cool. I forgot about Brook again, didn't I? I'm always forgetting about Brook this week. Okay, hold on. Brook exists! Remember him! Okay, so, yeah, then Yamato clashes with Kaido, and then he gets back up, and he's, you know, like, Kaido taking battle damage in this arc is sort of weird, where even when it looks like he is injured and he's bleeding and he's like yelling in pain or whatever, which has happened quite a bit. I mean, he's fought against all the scabbards, then he fought against, you know, Luffy, Zoro, Kid, Law, and Killer, and, you know, throughout those fights, I mean, there were definitely moments where he was like, you know, yelling in pain, like when Raizo did the, you know, the scroll ability to rebound the Boro Breath. That was a really cool move and everything. When Zoro did, you know, the Ashura moved, you know, he was obviously hurt from that. But I don't know, it just seems like, I guess Kaido has a healing factor, which makes sense given the fact he's Kaido, because even if he takes like a serious, like, full frontal Ashura from Zoro, wow, that was intense, give him like 5 minutes and he's like, yeah, I mean, I guess it'll leave a scar, but not a big deal. Alright, time to fight Yamato. I mean, if nothing else, Oda is really going the extra mile to show how much you gotta throw at this guy to bring him down. Alright, this is certainly not the situation where you can just have, like, 1 or 2 people, like Law and Luffy went up against Doflamingo, and Law used the Gamma Knife, and then Luffy kind of took it from there. No, this is like, you gotta throw all the scabbards, plus, you know, the strongest members of the worst generation, plus you gotta throw Yamato, plus Luffy. Luffy's fought him like, well, okay, if we're not including the moment when Luffy fought him at Okabore Town, because that happened like a few weeks before this, Luffy's fought him just once right here, and then he got knocked off the side of the wall, and he used Conqueror's Haki against him too, so he's coming back now. So, yeah, I mean, like, Oda really is showcasing, like, yeah, okay, Kaido is going to fall at the end of this arc, but they gotta work for it, alright? This is not going to be like, alright, Kaido's at full power 100%, here's Luffy, like, alright, I got this, you know, big epic fight, and then BAM! Knocked down. Like, no, that is not going to be how this is gonna go. So, Kaido gets back up after Yamato knocks him down, and he's just like, you know, I can't believe you're still on about this. You're still going around acting like you're a soldier from Wano, acting like you're Kozuki Oden, you know, when at the end of the day, you are still Kaido's son, the son of Kaido, still using that term there. And what I said last time, maybe Kaido's using that more in like a mocking kind of fashion at this point, right? And so Yamato's like, shut up, father, you know, I'm fighting you. And, you know, Kaido's like, you know, your entire life, Yamato, you've been on this island. You've been running around in the attics and in the crevices, hiding from me, you know, playing this stupid game of hide and go seek, essentially. And you don't have a single friend. And Yamato's like, that's not true. I've had plenty of friends, past tense, because of you, father. So we see scenes of Ace, of course. Like, oh, I've had a friend, and then, you know, there's Ace, and it's like, well, he's dead now. And then Kaido's like, absolutely, every friend, every ally you've ever had, what's happened to them? They've died. You know, and that's what's going to happen in the future. Just accept yourself. You're the ogre princess. You know, you are going to be, you're the child of an ogre. You're a descendant from the ogre. Kaido directly says that, implying that, like, Kaido's bloodline, alright? So, probably ancient giant based, and that's what he's referring to there. There's another brief scene where there's an unseen servant. We don't really, that's unseen servant, that's a spell in D&D. But no, there is an unseen servant of Kaido in the flashback that actually helped out Yamato, where I guess Yamato was running from her dad and hiding somewhere in, like, the attic of Onigashima, and then there was a servant that was like, it's okay, ogre princess, here, I'll give you some food, here's a blanket, you know, don't tell anybody, but, you know, just let me know if you need anything, right? And so that was like an act of kindness, like some random, you know, gifter or waiter in Kaido's crew, like, helped Yamato out there, and then cut to a few days later where that person is literally up on the cross. Not the cross, it's the X. It's the same thing that, like, when Jack cut off Inuarashi's leg and Nekomamushi's arm, they were on, like, that X kind of scaffolding at Zou. It's like that. So cut to a few days later where they're like, oh man, what did that guy do? He's, like, dead on the X and whatever. It's like, oh, I heard he gave food to the ogre princess. It's like, oh, damn. So obviously Kaido or one of the All-Stars found out about this servant helping out Yamato, and they executed him. Like, it wasn't even, like, there was no trial here. It was just done, right? And so Kaido is mentioning this. He's like, there's no way, there's nowhere you can run. You are the descendant of an ogre. You will always be the descendant of the ogre. And so Yamato's like, that's not true, father. You know, I'm not just who you want me to be. I could be whoever I want to be. You know, I could be Odin, or I could be a Straw Hat. I could be whoever I want to be. Yamato doesn't actually say Straw Hat, but it's very clear Yamato wants to leave with the Straw Hats. Anyway, this is the point, and this is a very brutal moment in the chapter where Kaido just kind of snaps. You know, up until this point, I mean, I guess Kaido was, like, trying his best at being a father, which is not very good at all. But he's basically like, you know, just submit and do what I say. And then Yamato's like, no! And it's like, that's like the 1,000th no that Kaido has probably heard, you know, regarding this, because, you know, he wants Yamato to grow up and be the Shogun and rule over Wano while he rules the Pirate Paradise, and Yamato he's like saying, no, I don't want to do that, I'm Odin. And I think this is the moment where Kaido just snaps, and he takes his Kanabo, which we found out lately is Hasaikai is the name of the Kanabo. He takes that Kanabo, and he beats the ever-loving shit out of Yamato. Like, seriously, it is brutal to watch, where he knocks Yamato to the ground, and then he's just like, damn it! Doesn't do your father! And then there's a scene where he's raising the Kanabo up, and Kaido's already looked monstrous. I mean, he's literally like an ancient giant, plus he's a dragon, plus he's a duck. He's the most demonic creature ever. But there's a scene here with the silhouette and the shading. When he lifts up that Kanabo, you just see the blood. It reminds me of, like, the demon guards that impel down. Like, before we got properly introduced to Minotauros, and we saw what he really looked like with, like, the runny nose and everything, there was just the silhouette of, like, this demon, like a minotaur, lifting up a club, and you just see the eyes and just the blood splattering everywhere. It reminds me like that, but Kaido's, like, lifting it up, and he looks like the most beastly we've ever seen in this chapter, in this series, really. He's like, that is what you do, Yamato. You listen to your father. You are an ogre, and this is what you do. You listen to me, and this proceeds to beat her down over and over again. So that's brutal. We now cut to Momonosuke and Luffy, who have finally taken flight. So Momonosuke has finally, like, managed to get off the ground. His eyes are shut, though, and it doesn't take them very long to reach Onigashima, because they're kind of, like, right below it. So he just flies right up to Onigashima, and Momo's like, Luffy's like, all right, we're holding steady. All right, now, I can see some shadows on the roof. Oh, man, that's looking really grisly over there. We should probably head to the roof right now. And Momo's like, okay, what? Where is the roof? Which cardinal direction am I going in, Luffy? What are you, So, he's flying literally blind. He has his eyes shut because he's so afraid of heights, right? And so Luffy doesn't even know this. He's like, okay, Momo, let's head for the roof. And Momo's like, all right, the roof, and then he just dive bombs down. He's like, what are you doing? Wait, are your eyes shut? And then Luffy at that moment is just like, I don't know, he probably just grabs like Momo's horns, like wraps his arms around them, like, all right, this is gonna be a bumpy ride here, all right. So Momonosuke, like, charges, breaks through the live stage at Onigashima, just boom, just, you know, this is gonna be, I think Kaido even says later he's going to have to repair his mansion. It's like, this is ridiculous. You guys wrecked my house. I'm going to have to, it's gonna take months to fix this. You know, I'm gonna have to hire contractors and get estimates. Oh my god. So anyway, yeah, Momonosuke just breaks into the middle of the live stage. Keep in mind, this is where Sanji and Zoro are fighting King and Queen. You know, Chopper's there, all the samurai are there, the numbers are still probably stomping around somewhere. Like, all this is going on, and then, like, in the middle of this fight, Giant Dragon just explodes through the wall. Now, yes, Momonosuke is a pink or peach-colored dragon, but still, Giant Dragon appears in Onigashima. You're going to assume it was Kaido. You're going to assume, like, is this Kaido's new transformation? He turned into a pink dragon? Whatever. So he just breaks through the hall. Everybody kind of stops what they're doing, right? You know, we have a scene with Queen, Sanji, Hyo, Kawamatsu, Izo, Marco. Luffy's on the back of Momonosuke like, ah! Zoro's there. King just looks up. King's reaction to this is pretty much the same as every other reaction. Just ellipses and a exclamation point and a question mark, basically. That's King's response. He's not a very vocal individual. So, you know, everyone's like, you know, Zoro's like, Luffy, what are you doing? It's like, I don't know. And then just boom. And then so it's like, here's the entrance. Here's the roof of the live stage. They just like go right up there, okay? And so now they're on the second floor, which is where Big Mom is fighting Kid and Law. So right in the middle of that fight, you can imagine like Kid is like wounded from Hawkins' attack still, and he's bleeding. And Law's like, hey Kid, are you all right? He's like, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I just got stabbed by an invisible knife. Happens all the time. Law's like, all right, well, I'm gonna open up a room, okay? And we can try to, like, move her around a little bit. Maybe we can, you know, aim an attack or something. Maybe you can make a giant metal spike and then ram it right there. Boom! And then, like, a dragon just explodes. And then Big Mom's like, Kaido, what? Mama. Luffy's like, ah! Law's like, ah! And then they're just, like, going up, okay? And so, boom, into the third floor. Boom, into the fourth floor. Boom, into the fifth floor. And they just keep going up, right? A freaking, like, elevator or whatever in a department store. All right, so it's pretty funny. I mean, it takes up a big chunk of this chapter, and it's just scene after scene of, like, all the characters in the battle just responding to this craziness going on, right? But it is pretty funny to watch. Now, all of the minions of Kaido begin to realize it doesn't take them very long. This isn't Kaido, right? It's a different color dragon. It's a pink dragon, not a blue dragon. So it's like, we gotta get to the bottom of this. We gotta figure out what's going on here. So we cut back to the roof here. This is the moment where Kaido is like, man, I'm gonna have to go to Home Depot after this, pick up some hammers and boards. I'm not a home repair guy. But anyway, it's like, we gotta fix this place up. And then so Yamato gets back up. Yamato has insane endurance, I gotta say, because it really did look like, you know, she might just be down for the count after that onslaught that Kaido delivered, right? You could tell he snapped and his, like, rage really took over there. But Yamato gets up and, you know, she's bleeding a little bit, but it's not really as bad as you'd think after that. Now, she is back in her base form. She's no longer in the hybrid. But anyway, while Yamato gets back up, the dragon just breaks through in the background. So we only see it, like, Kaido's there looking at Yamato, and then in the background just, you know, another dragon appears. And then at that same moment, Luffy goes into Gear 4 Snake Man and uses Jet Colverian the same time Yamato jumps up and uses a technique called White Serpent. And then BAM! Jet Colverian! BAM! And they slam into Kaido. Awesome double page spread. Absolutely beautiful. They, like, uppercut Kaido together. It's really cool. They both hit him in the jaw. He goes flying back, blood splattering out of his face, and he's just like, what? Boom! And so he hits the ground. Of course, this doesn't do a lot of damage to Kaido. He gets back up pretty much immediately, but Luffy and Yamato see each other, and Yamato's like, oh, Luffy, you're back. He's like, oh, hey, Yamato, how are you doing? And then Yamato sees the peach dragon and is like, oh, wait a second, a peach-colored dragon. That looks a lot like, oh, Momonosuke. And so there's that scene there. Now, Kaido, after getting double uppercutted by Yamato and Luffy, I guess before he hits the ground, he transforms into a full dragon, like, what? Turns into a dragon, and then Luffy is still on the back of Momonosuke, so keep this in mind, alright? So we have the scene, the last scene of the chapter, where Kaido and Momo, both in full dragon form, are face to face, and Momo's expression is like, and Kaido's expression, I'll be honest with you, I thought it would be hilarious. This isn't what happened, but I was kind of hoping that Oda might have gone like this route with it. You know how like in Skypiea, for the most part, Eneru was like this really serious villain, but then the moment where he uses his Goro Goro powers against Luffy and they don't work, Eneru has the shocked face, like the face fault, and it's like one of the most hilarious moments in One Piece, okay? I was really hoping Kaido turns into the giant dragon, he looks over, he sees Momo as the giant dragon, and his response to that was like, who did that to me? Holy shit, a dragon! Where did you come from? Like, Kaido was just terrified of dragons this whole time. That would have been pretty funny. But no, he looks over at Momo. Momo is definitely more afraid of Kaido than Kaido is afraid of Momo. But Kaido's just like, what? Luffy, you're back? Oh, and I'm with a dragon? Who are you? You know, identify yourself. What dragon are you? I'm already paying enough child support to Big Mom's kids. Tell you what, if you're the son of that other dragon I met a couple years ago, listen, I got nothing. But no, he's just like, identify yourself, alright? And so, Momo kind of like, you know, sucks it up at that moment and is just like, I am Kozuki Momonosuke, the son of Odin. And then Kaido just kind of looks and is like, oh, alright, so you're him, alright. Well, guess what, kid? This world isn't big enough for two dragons. Alright, so we just have that scene there where Yamato realizes it's Momo, Kaido sees Luffy and Momonosuke, so they kind of got their surprise attack off. That was what they had. I mean, I probably didn't do a lot of damage, but hey, it was pretty cool to see. You know, and Luffy just has the line of like, you know, typical Luffy, like, you know, I'm not gonna die, I'm not gonna get knocked off this time, you know, Kaizoku Oni Ore Wanar, I'm gonna be king of the pirates, let's do this, and then end of chapter, okay? So this is awesome, for a bunch of different reasons, obviously. We have two dragons that are now gonna brawl against each other. Maybe like when they get into the thick of actually fighting, Momonosuke can just maybe like discard his fears and just like go into it. He's just like, you know what, whatever, it's gonna be an all-out brawl, let's do this, Kaido! Boro breath, lightning, claws, fangs, and just, you know, trying to gore each other with their horns, you know, and they just turn into wild beasts and just try to fight each other while Luffy comes up with something in the background. I don't know. I also like the scene that Yamato is not out of this fight yet. I was really hoping it wasn't going to be like, you know, Kaido does his onslaught on Yamato, and then she's knocked down, and then, like, Luffy shows up, and she's on the ground bleeding, and just like, you know, I can't win, I can't defeat my father, you have to be the one to win, Luffy. And Luffy's like, okay. You know, I'm glad it's not that. I'm glad Yamato is still in the fight, so it's gonna be Yamato, Luffy, Momo versus Kaido. And maybe some other cameo appearances will show up. Maybe Jinbei will burst in because he was also on one of the higher levels. I was really hoping to see Jinbei because he was on the 4th floor trying to figure out where to go next because there was a fire on the 3rd. I was really hoping for Momo just to break through the 4th floor and like Jinbei grabs onto him like, oh, okay, well this is one way out, and just whoosh, and then you have Jinbei, Yamato, Momo, and Luffy. He might still show up, you don't know. The reason I really want Jinbei to be in on this is just because he's the most recent addition to the Straw Hats, and all the other Straw Hats, like, you know, Sanji and Zoro are both fighting All-Stars respectfully. You know, Nami and Usopp, I love them, but I don't think they're going to be super useful in fighting Kaido. I mean, it would be cool to see all the Straw Hats fight against him, but, you know, Robin is probably definitely done fighting for the day, but, you know, Jinbei and Chopper also, but Jinbei, you know, he's new to this, and he used to be a warlord. We know he's really strong, so, you know, I would love to see Jinbei join in on this fight too, because I definitely think he could stand with Kaido, Luffy, and Yamato. They're all relatively equal in power, and then Momo, you know, not as equal in power, but still a giant dragon, definitely going to be good at support. Also, I wanted to bring up, yeah, Momo might have been afraid of flying, but Momo was still able to fly pretty fast, and, you know, as long as, you know, he kept his eyes open, he would know where he's going. So that was more of a fear thing, but yeah, he seems to have pretty good control over the flame clouds in order to fly the way he did, because if he had like no control over his dragon form, he would be like, he probably wouldn't even be able to manifest the flame clouds, or he'd be like, you know, flying all over the place or whatever like that. But no, it was like he could still fly. It was just he was afraid of it. So as long as he gets over that, he can fly pretty much just as well as Kaido could, right? Honestly. So it seems like when Shinobu used that ability, he did gain like the abilities and powers he would have if he trained for 20 years. It's just he's still afraid, okay? Well, anyway, that's the chapter. Like I said, it's not very long, and there is now a 2-week break. I apologize. Last week I said there was a 2-week break, but there's a 2-week break now. But yeah. It's going to be insane. Like, I hope the next chapter is just going to be an all-out brawl between Momo and Kaido, and then Luffy and Yamato use some more combo attacks in the background. Maybe Jinbei shows up. But it was a fun chapter, if nothing else, just to see everybody's reactions with Momonosuke bursting into the hall. And now, like, everybody sort of knows what's going on, so I'm sure, like, the Straw Hats are going to try to finish their battles as quick as possible, maybe to get up there and help Luffy. I don't know. Well, anyway, yeah, probably the highlight was the scene where Kaido kind of just has a rage break moment and just, you know, like a monster, like a real ogre, just starts beating the crap out of Yamato and mentions, like, you are the descendant of an ogre, therefore, you know, you have to do what I say. This is like your birthright, so to speak. So definitely want to expand a little bit more on that, exactly what that means, and we might even address Yamato's mother at some point, which is also very important there. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. This will be Tekking and Barry signing out. Have a good weekend, everyone.